Hey, our mind is an amazing thing. It can totally focus on something and mask everything else away. Like if you see a beautiful lady walking down the street, you won't be paying any attention to traffic. Or if there's an angry dog chasing you down that very same street, you won't be thinking about your mortgage payments. We are good at focusing. Let me show you what I mean. This is a cheese slicer. It's a Norwegian invention invented in 1929 in Lillehammer. The inventor was a carpenter. His name was Thor Björklund, and he got annoyed when he cut the cheese and couldn't get even sort of slices. And as a carpenter, he would go to his carpenter toolbox and see what kind of tools he has there to, cut wood. And he modeled the cheese slicer after some of his tools. I don't know anything about carpenter's tools, but this is how the story goes. And you can do all kind of things now with this cheese slicer. You can cut some cheese, obviously. Apple. This is a healthier option. Or cucumber. A Norwegian cheese slicer. Now this, on the other hand, is something totally else. This is my first calculator I got while in high school. So this is a Commodore from late 70s. It was pretty advanced of its time, but currently it's almost hilarious. It uses one of those 9-volt batteries, and they run out in less than an hour if I keep it on. It also has one unique feature which I find sort of amusing. If you calculate something and then you ask it to calculate. So it takes some time before it comes up with the answer. I think the circuitry was pretty slow back then. So me, as an unsecure, still developing teenager, had a special use for this device. And had my parents know what I did with this device, I bet they would have seeken help for me. So this is what I did. I would turn my calculator on, and then I would ask it to calculate something. And while it is still calculating, I would turn off the power. So that even the calculator wouldn't know the answer. Now, I was bullied a bit as a kid, so I thought that this was my way of getting even with the universe. I bullied my calculator, asking it to calculate some functions and then not let it finish the calculation before I shut it off. Extremely strange pleasure. So now, when I was talking to you about my calculator, did you pay attention to the cheese slicer? That's what I thought. Even though it is in plain sight, our mind works like that. If I draw your attention to this, you won't be paying attention to that. Now, we as photographers need to take that into account when we are taking pictures. We need to lead our viewers to see and concentrate on things that we intend them to focus on, and we need to help them to mask everything else out. Now, here are a few pictures of mine where I didn't do a very good job. It's very difficult for a viewer to say what was the focus of this picture, why was this picture taken. So what were you supposed to be focusing at as a viewer? I don't know. There was a lot of things in those pictures, but not clear guidance for you as a viewer. Now somebody might say that, hey, that's okay. Like, let the viewer, create her own story or interpret the picture the way she wants. But I don't think there is interpretation before there is a story. You need to have a story where you as a viewer can put your own experiences and your own interpretation on top of it. I don't believe in throwing random stuff on a picture and then thinking maybe there is something. Reminds me of a drummer friend of mine, Anssi Nykänen, who is one of the best drummers in Finland, but he doesn't play piano. So every now and then he would go to a piano and do something like this. Was there something? Something there? Was that any good? Sometimes my pictures are like that nobody knows what that stuff is, and I can't ask my viewers to take the responsibility of understanding that mess. It's my job to create a story or a musical piece, and then the viewer can enjoy it. Anywho, so in my previous example of, cheese slicer and the calculator, I had a lot of tools at my disposal. I can, demonstrate, I can calculate, I can tell the story. None of those are available in photography. So I need to use some other means to help my viewer to focus. Here are some of the tools that I use to help my viewer to see what I want them to see. So here's a little trick that I use every now and then. When I'm composing a picture, I verbalize to myself, what is the story I'm trying to tell? What is the focus of my picture? And at the same time trying to remember that it all needs to be within the frame. I don't have the surrounding context. I can't deliver the smell or the sounds of the things around me. This square or whatever format I'm using is the only thing that I can deliver. And my viewers are pretty good at focusing once when I help them to see what I want them to see. Maybe that's why I'm lately so drawn to minimalism, because that is probably the easiest and strongest way to get rid of all the unnecessary clutter and help the viewer to focus on the thing that I want her to focus on. We are pretty good at focusing, but not on many things at the same time. So simple pictures with the clear story with the single focus. In my liking, those are the best. But then again, I'm a simple guy.